Good evening, everyone. And today we are going to be talking about Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. And today we have a special guest, George Gordon. Now, ladies, he's handsome, but let's get right to it. Hi, George. Well, hello there. Nice to meet you. By the way, it's Lord Byron. Sorry, I have a big ego because of my upper class. Oh, okay. Lord Byron. We have a few questions from some pretty big fans of the book. They want to know about Mary's personal life, her feminist views, and even your influence on the story of Frankenstein. Why, of course. Now, in regards to Mary's personal life, she had associations with Humphrey Davy and William Nicholson, the two foremost experimenters with galvanic electricity. Now, if we recall from the book, Frankenstein came alive, we can assume, from that electric storm, and it probably, most likely, is the reason behind the monster's reanimation. Wow, you seem to know a lot about Mary's personal life. Any comments on that? Well, I did know her pretty well, if you know what I mean. Whoa there, Byron. What happened at the villa stays at the villa, alright? Hey, you asked. My apologies. Now, moving on. Some of the fans said that they saw some feministic views in Frankenstein. What's the background behind that? Well, Mary's mother was a feminist, so you can see some of those influences in the book. And an example of this is the theme that, life can't be created without woman. As you can see, all the chaos that occurred when the monster was reanimated and wreaked havoc in Victor's life, and this was, of course, life without a woman. So, it kind of shows that women play a major role in the balance that men need. Now, it's interesting that you bring up balance in a man's life. I myself saw an example of this when the monster was examining the family, and more specifically, Felix, and how the monster recognized that there was something off about him, and it was when he learned their history about Safie not being in his life that he knew the underlying cause of this distress that was, kind of resonating off Felix. Yeah, of course. When I was really getting to know Mary, she was a brilliant girl. I love spending time with her, and not with my wife. And I love to share my ideas with her. I saw something in her that I knew that she could come up with a great piece of literature. And speaking of you sharing ideas with Mary, what kind of influence have you had on the book? Well, I had an interest in mythic avatars such as vampires, and that's probably what prompted Mary Shelley to write about such creatures such as the one in Frankenstein. So, is that it? That's all the influence you had on it? Actually, now that you mention it, there is more. As you know, my poem Prometheus is about a titan who is punished by Zeus for giving humans the gift of fire. And this kind of connects to Victor's punishment by the monster for creating it. And so in a way, Mary's and I, in our writing style and our writing topics, they kind of correspond. So that's kind of how I influenced her. Wow, amazing. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Any final remarks? Yes, of course. Thank you so much for having me and listening. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter at TheLordByron17. Byron, out. Well, thank you so much for listening, guys. Thank you so much, Lord Byron. Don't forget to join us next week when we talk about Grapes Are Wrath with a very special guest named Grandpa Jode. All right, now it's 1 o'clock. Go get some rest. We'll see you tomorrow.